Mangwana ni Malelepo Fukenjani, Klekwa Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. Later in the broadcast, we're going to be giving you some highlights from ITB, which is all about tourism, and this is in Berlin, Germany, where we have Executive Director of Network Media Hub, Frank Stephan, as well as the Executive Director of Enjoy Life, right there, bringing us the updates. But prior to that, these are some of the top stories we'll be looking at. CAF postpones Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Somalia Parliament supports constitutional changes that could delay elections. Mauritius weighs legal action against United Kingdom over Chagos Islands. IMF says Zambia program talks likely after August elections. Rising oil prices present revenue opportunity for Nigeria, Angola, and Ghana. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, oneup2.com, Network Media Hub, as well as ntvafrica.my.na are precisely where you can watch the show. My name is Ashwin Berry. Top stories shortly.
ITSA is 'n echt Namibiese inisiatief. Ons reis op die hartklop van Afrika en vertel stories van mense en hulle dorpe op verskeie platforms insluitende televisie en sosiale media. Dit is joune, syne, julle en ook almal van hulle aan die ander kant van ons grense sinne. En dit maak ITSA 'n lekker ding. Kyk ITSA maande om 18:30 op NTV, oneup2.com, as ook op Netwerk Media Hub en NTV Afrikaans se YouTube kanale. Volg ons op Facebook of besoek ons webwerf by itsafrica.com.
Business First Africa is a forward-looking business show that goes beyond balance sheets to capture how Africans are building, creating, and living. Afrotech explores innovation, AI, and digital systems shaping the continent's economies. Brave and Building profiles Namibian entrepreneurs and businesses transforming industries and urban spaces. Creative Capital spotlights creatives and the creative economy, unpacking how culture becomes value. Africa in 10 delivers a sharp roundup of key developments across the continent. Don't miss Business First Africa, because it's not just business, it's life. All right, it's time for us to get into the top stories, and the first one is a bit of the shocker. The Confederation of African Football has postponed the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations just 12 days before the tournament was due to begin in Morocco. CAF announced that the competition would be rescheduled to July, citing unforeseen circumstances. The finals had been planned from 17 March to 3 April and also served as a qualifier for the 2027 Women's World Cup in Brazil. Morocco was preparing to host a third consecutive edition of the tournament, although recent reports suggested the possibility of a change of hosts, creating concern among players and supporters. Questions also grew after chaotic scenes at the 2025 Men's AFCON final in Rabat, where Morocco lost 1-0 to Senegal at the Stade Moulay Abdellah Stadium. CAF said postponing the competition would help ensure the success of the tournament. The event will now take place from 25 July to 16 August, while preparations continue, and the governing body has not indicated whether Morocco will remain the host nation. Now, Somalia's parliament has backed constitutional changes that could extend the president's term in office and delay planned elections. Lawmakers voted to approve amendments whose implications analysts were still debating a day later. Somalia has faced conflict and clan battles without a strong central government since the fall of autocratic ruler Mohamed Siad Barre in 1991. Although an African Union peacekeeping mission has pushed back the Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab group, the militants still control large areas of the countryside and can conduct regular strikes on major population centers. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud welcomed Parliament's backing during a press conference, saying the approval process had dragged on for a long period. Samira Gaid, an analyst with Balkis, a Mogadishu-based think tank, said the implications of the amendments remained unclear. She said the constitutional change does not automatically extend the current president's term, but interpretation could matter. For now, she said the president is careful not to say he is extending his term because of possible criticism from the international community. Now, Mauritius says that it is considering legal action against the United Kingdom, and this is over the Chagos Islands. Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam said London was delaying ratification of an agreement that would see the territory revert to Port Louis. The islands host a strategically important naval and bomber base. Under the deal, the UK would pay Mauritius £101 million each year to lease back the base for at least 99 years. Britain has controlled the islands since 1814. Between the 1960s and 1970s, Britain evicted as many as 2,000 people so the United States military could build the Diego Garcia base. The United Nations has opposed the arrangement, saying the islands should return to the Chagosians, whom it considers the rightful owners of the land, rather than Port Louis. The UN also says the agreement prevents Chagosians from returning to their ancestral homelands on Diego Garcia. It says the deal does not formally acknowledge past injustices, provide full reparation for harms, or allow the islands to preserve their distinct cultural heritage. Now, IMF says discussions with Zambia over a new support program could begin in April, but agreement may come after the August elections. The International Monetary Fund said technical talks with Zambian authorities might start as early as late April. However, a full deal is expected only after the general elections, once a new government is in place. Zambia's previous IMF program ended in January after total disbursements of $1.7 billion that supported the country as it emerges from a long debt restructuring process. In a statement issued after a staff mission, the IMF said Zambia had made substantial progress in restoring macroeconomic stability under the completed program. President Hakainde Hichilema will seek re-election for a second term in August. The IMF also said Zambia's economic outlook remains positive. Growth projections for 2025 and 2026 were revised to 4.5% and 5.5%. The mission also noted emerging fiscal pressures within the 2026 budget framework. Now, rising global oil prices, which are linked to the tensions involving Iran, are creating potential gains for several African exporters. Nigeria, Angola, and Ghana are expected to benefit most, as many other African countries import fuel. Brent crude has moved above $80 per barrel amid fears that escalating conflict in the Middle East could disrupt supply. Concerns center on the Strait of Hormuz, a maritime corridor through which roughly a fifth of global oil passes. Higher prices can increase export earnings, fiscal revenues, and foreign exchange reserves for producers. Nigeria, Africa's largest crude exporter, produces about 1.3 to 1.5 million barrels per day. Even modest price rises can strengthen government revenue and the balance of payments. Angola, the region's second largest producer, also relies heavily on crude exports for export earnings and government income. Ghana, a smaller producer, pumps oil from offshore fields including Jubilee, Ten, and Sankofa. Higher prices could strengthen export earnings and fiscal resources as the country continues economic reforms and stabilization efforts. Now we stay with Iran, but this time in relation to Namibia. The Ministry of International Relations and Trade says a number of Namibians remain in parts of the Middle East following the recent strikes on Iran. Speaking in Windhoek, Minister Selma Ashipala-Musavyi said the government is in contact with nationals in Bahrain, Oman, and Israel, with numbers fluctuating as more people reach out. Phillipus Josef reports.
A few in Bahrain, in Oman, and I think 2 in Israel. And the reason why we know about those numbers that are also fluctuating is because following the attack on Iran, we directed our embassy in in Cairo because it is concurrently accredited to the Gulf countries, to issue an advisory notice to indicate the email and the phone number where our nationals can contact them. So we are in contact with them. They've actually organized themselves where they have a lead person in all those countries. It's a situation that we are taking very seriously. We have created an interministerial task force. We are working with our neighboring countries because some of them have thousands of people in the Gulf state, for us to work together and to see how we can evacuate our people. We did the same during COVID. We worked very well together with Angola, with South Africa, and we basically pooled resources and got our people back home. So it is the same thing that we are doing now with regard to this situation. We are in touch with them every day. We are in touch with them and we have assured them that they should just hang on. We pray for their safety, but we are doing everything that we can within the means possible for them to come back home. And it's also important to remember that we are talking about three categories of people. There are those who live there. There are those who work there, they have work permits. And there are those who unfortunately were just...
All right, those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. After the break, we get into the world of tourism involving Namibia and some Namibians in Berlin. In a world where politicians promise the moon and deliver potholes, where democracy sometimes arrives in camouflage and ballots often look like formalities, one show dares to laugh with Africa, at Africa, and sometimes for Africa. This is Second Take, your weekly dose of political satire with an African soul and a global edge. From coups disguised as press briefings to ministers moonwalking past accountability, we serve the real news with sharper writing. Each week we bring you the TikTok of the week because sometimes the revolution is vertical, and the heartwarming moment of the week to remind us that not everything is burning. We also sit down with the bold, the brilliant, and the brave, voices that question power, stir thought, and spark laughter. Because when the headlines are wild, the leaders are louder, and the truth is lost in translation, we all need a second take. Now in Namibia, the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism has initiated a review of Namibia's national tourism policy of 2008, and this is to assess its relevance. Speaking during a public consultation in Rundu for the review of the policy, Deputy Director Elise Hashi-Tuva said the process is necessary as the policy has been in place for about 17 years and must be reassessed to assure that it remains relevant. This video is by Elliot Ipinge.
17 years, and we wanted really to work on par with the development, with the global agenda, African agenda, and the local national plans. We aligned with the evolving trends, economic change, and national priorities. We prioritize, and also to work along with other sectors in the country. The objectives of this policy, we assess the relevance and the effectiveness of the interest, and also the effectiveness of the policy to other policies, harmonization. We have to make sure that we harmonize with other policies. We look at the other policies and then we look at whether we have got overlapping with other laws, overlapping with other policies, and then we change or amend what is not applicable. The second item objective is to identify the gaps and challenges as an evaluated on, and just to make sure that we have a fully policy review, and we have a systemic document that is leading us as a roadmap. And this is now leading to the well and informed decision on policy options.
Now, at the 2026 edition of ITB Berlin International Tourismus Börse, Namibia stood out among more than 6,000 exhibitors and global buyers gathered in the German capital. As one of the world's largest and most influential travel trade fairs marked its 60th anniversary, the spotlight was firmly on international collaboration, innovation, and the future of tourism. The exhibition took place from 3 to 5 March, with Angola serving as the official host country. This year's event carried particular significance for the African continent as Angola took center stage. From Angola to Zimbabwe, Botswana to Namibia, the region's strong presence underscored Southern Africa's growing influence within the global travel market. Namibia's 22 exhibitors attracted keen interest from tour operators, travel media, and international buyers eager to discover more about the country's vast landscapes, conservation success stories, and authentic cultural experiences. Representing the country on the ground, Tourismus and Enjoy Travel brought audiences the latest updates, insights, and behind-the-scenes moments from the trade floor. Here is Network Media Hub Executive Director Frank Steffen speaking on ITB from Germany.
Good day, I'm Frank Steffen. I'm here at the ITB in Berlin. It's obviously the big occasion for the tourism sector as a whole internationally. It's not the only ITB, by the way, so there are other ITBs as well. But obviously for us as Namibians, that's the interesting part. We're representing Enjoy Travel and then obviously Tourismus, as you can see. Our Tourismus show that we always bring to you on a weekly basis. But then on the other hand, we're obviously part of the ESP group, or also known to Network Media Hub, others prefer to think of it, where we have our media in Namibia being present in the tourism industry. We've spent quite a lot of time at this Tourism Expo now, attending various seminars. Amongst others, we've listened to the fact that sustainability these days has become just as important as experience. Experiences was what everybody seemed to target a couple of years back. Now sustainability, culture, everything that's got to do with it, cultural backgrounds, people are just important as the arts and crafts. Something that we in Namibia also want to target in this coming year when we do our expo. And so it's been quite an eye-opener how everybody embraces that internationally. So if we do it, we're not only following a trend, I think in part we're actually setting the trend. The important part here is to realize that not always everything goes as well as we think it should. The Namibian stand was most impressive, but unfortunately we spoke to one or two who were not as happy with how much the reaction was from the crowd as in previous years. We obviously also saw the Zambian stand and Zimbabwean stand, but more importantly, we visited the Angolan stand where we spoke with quite a number of people. Angola obviously being the host country of the ITB in Berlin this year. So it was extremely impressive to see how all these countries come together. And one of these things was when it came to culture, the one seminar that we attended, people were actually talking about the fact that at the end of the day, you do not want to step on another one's foot. And to me, it was quite, truly an eye-opener when I saw you literally had a China stand, then you had Taiwan, and then you had Hong Kong, sort of beefed in together, and yet everybody was getting along well. And maybe that's what tourism does, it brings people together. And so hopefully this is what we can achieve for little Namibia as well. Thank you.
Truly wonderful, and do make sure you follow Tourismus on Facebook for you to get more updates from ITB in Berlin. Staying With ITB, watch as Alicia Santos, General Director of the Institute of Promotion of Angola, shares more insights from ITB. We also hear from Namibian Tourism Board CEO Selma Ashipala-Musavyi, Mauritius van Vuren, co-founder and executive director of Nankuse Foundation, Karl-Heinz Esterhuizen, CEO of Taleni Africa, and Simone Micheletti, managing director of Louisiana Plains Safaris, and all of them attended the trade fair.
Hello, my name is Alicia. I'm the General Director of Institute of Promotion of Angola, and we are here to showcase our beautiful country. We are in the 60th anniversary of ITB. We are the host country and are very pleased to show a little bit of Angola, what was to offer. We have beautiful coastlines, we have the desert, we have rainforest, we have Kalandula waterfall, and we have safari to experience to our tourists. Right now, we have showing our beautiful tribes. We are here present with 20 tour operators, showcasing the best that we have in our countries. Please come to visit us, and I hope to see you soon in Angola.
Hi, my name is Marlies van Vuren, and I'm here at the ITB in Berlin at the Nakuse stand on the Namibian Tourism Board. And we are advertising Namibia and everything Nakuse is doing, from wine to landscape conservation, amazing accommodations from east to west to south in Namibia, and it's an amazing trade show. We are so happy to be here, and every year it's just getting better. Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
My name is Karl-Heinz from Taleni Africa. We have various lodges at Etosha and in Sossusvlei. Our lodges range from camping up to self-catering and to luxury lodges. And we hope to welcome each and every guest to our property to give them the experience of a lifetime. Thank you very much.
Well, my name is Phillipus Josef, the CEO of Namibia Tourism Board. So we here at ITB this year. I mean, the intention is, maybe we should start. Outside of Africa, Germany remains our biggest host market. That's great. So we're here now to say what is to consolidate this market, and only not Germany as a country, but the German-speaking countries that are also traveling to Namibia. And we here meeting up with the travel trade, travel media, and also then the airlines, both Discover Airlines and also Eldevis, that's now coming in June, and consolidating in terms of how we're going to increase the awareness about the destination Namibia, how we're going to attract those, of course, those that know Namibia in terms of being repeater clients, and those that are new clients that are coming to Namibia, you know, through the new airlines, so to speak, especially the one from Zurich, the one that has been already introduced from Munich. So yeah, ITB is great because yes, we had some appointments. Maybe 80% achieved, 20% were cancelled because of all the things that is happening. Some people could not travel from your Middle East and so on coming. But overall, about 80% we are happy for being here. The trade is happy. We're engaging with the trade in terms of the appointment, and we are looking for numbers that are really increasing from the German market, but also from the neighbors in terms of the Switzerland, Austria, and so on. You know, that can be picked up either from here or now from Munich, and also in June from Zurich. So we're excited to be here, and we will continue to come here because this is what keeps us outside of Africa in terms of the incoming market or source markets. Oh, thank you.
So hi, I'm Simone Micheletti. Most of you might know me for Wild Waters Group lodges in the Caprivi Strip, Zambezi region. But we have a new exciting project. It's in Angola, the southeast of Angola, and under the umbrella of Louisiana Plains Safaris. Why Angola? It's just natural because the Caprivi Strip, the northern part of it, borders with Zambia, but also with Angola. And Luangelo National Park, it's part of CASA. It's actually the biggest national park in the CASA boundaries. is even bigger than Kafue. So for us, it's just been, I said, natural to move in there and try to do something there. So by June 2026, we're going to open a new camp there. We call it Guyana Plains Explorer Camp. And I think we're going to add a bit of flavor to that Casa area with the first safari camp, the first product in Angola. And yeah, look for us and find out a bit more on your website, on our website. Thank you.
All right, ITB in Berlin. Very exciting over there. Thank you for joining us for this entire week on Africa. Good morning, DSTV 285, GoTV 25, 1up2.com, Network Media Hub, and ntvafrica.my.na. As we head into the weekend, I will leave you with the ladies of Smell the Coffee, who will join you in just over 30 minutes. And from me and the Africa Good Morning team, we wish you a wonderful weekend. We'll be back on Monday with news from Zambia as well as from the rest of Africa. Swera Jakanaka.